sitting down by the water. As you can see, the boats are out of the water. I'm just making a quick video response to ASIC Eric's video talking about the slick sand, epoxy primers, and high builds and stuff like that. I'll start off by saying to anybody that's new to my channel, I'm not a body man. I'm never going to claim to be a body man. I know a lot of people that are body men, and like every field out there, there's good body men, there's bad body men, there's good doctors, there's bad doctors, there's in-between doctors, there's average people. Okay, I see cars all day long. Okay, we roll over 100 cars a day out of the shop, and I see a lot of cars that I consider them quickies, even though when you have them outside they look mint, where you could see all the sanding scratches. You just look into it with the light and they're there. Okay, so the discussion basically was the slick sand over the high build and epoxy. My theory is anything that smells shrinks, because what you're smelling is what's leaving it. Okay, it might be minute, it might be drastic. The more reducer you put in there, the more it's going to shrink. Okay, I like the tests that you did. I like the test with the slick sand. I like the test with all of them, showing them shrinking. And but the question is I think the point that was brought up is that it takes X amount of time to cure. I don't know if he said weeks or months. In the olden days, if you were doing a really nice paint job, you put that car in primer and you let it sit in the shop for at least a month before you did the final sanding. And I know with the 2K stuff, it doesn't shrink as bad, but if you're doing high quality work, I still think the car has to sit there. I think the sanding scratches will come back and will bite you. Just because something appears cured doesn't mean it is cured. I mean, concrete takes years to cure, but you think it's cured. Same might go for the slick sand. So if you put the slick sand on the car, it appears to be cured in the cup, but maybe a month from now, maybe it is slowly shrinking, and maybe it will go down into the sand and scratch. Now, I've heard many times from many videos that a lot of people sand to 120 and 150 and then continue on with other products on top of it. Like I said, I'm not a body guy, but my theory is if you're intentionally leaving the scratches there, then you're going to fill them with a thinner product that has a chance of shrinking. There is a very good chance it will shrink, especially if you're in a production shop and you got to get it out quick. And down the road you will see it. I wrote in the comment that what looks good in March might not look good in October, because it looked mint when it left the shop. You did everything, you buffed it, or you cut it, you buffed it, everything looked awesome. A lot of these people never see the cars again. And if you take a good look at that car 6-8 months down the road, and you look at it just right in the light, especially fluorescent light, you might see sanding scratches all over the place. And you're like, well, they weren't there when I started. Of course they weren't there, because some of this stuff takes a long time to cure. So on a car like you're doing, which isn't a quick production job, I would let the chemical or the product lay on the car as long as I could before I moved on. And I don't believe in the 150 sanding. I would read whatever the tech sheet says, and I would go to the finest that they recommend, and definitely no finer, because if it isn't fine enough, the stuff falls off in sheets. Everybody's figured that out. So the person that was making the comments to you about it shrinking might be absolutely positively correct. He might have a lot more experience than a test that's being done for a couple of days, which is definitely a valid test. I mean, you could see that the epoxy shrunk more than the slick sand. I mean, I was showed the old school way. I'm not a body man, and it doesn't mean what I do is right. I was showed that you get it the best you can with the body filler. And when I learned, there was no polyester glazing putty. There was red lead. So you were doing all your final work pretty much on the Bondo, and then you were top coating them with something like high build or whatever it was, some lacquer-based product. And you were working from there. Nowadays, it's rough it with the Bondo, polyester glazing putty, finish it off there and throw some high build on it. Bing, 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 you're out the door. And there's a very good chance a lot of that stuff's going to shrink down. If anybody saw my Facebook channel, my friend Donnie commented right off the bat about polyester glazing putty. Am I using polyester glazing putty? And I said yes. And he says, beware of the shrinkage. It could happen. Now, most high-end cars are covered with polyester glazing putty, and they block it down. Well, most high-end paint jobs are covered with slick sand, and then they block it on down. But that stuff lays on the car for a while. It's not like watching overhauling where the paint job's done in an hour and it's out the door. You know what I mean? So, just beware. That's all I could say. Beware. And I'm not going to tell you everything I do on the Concorde is going to be exact. There has to be a limit. There has to be a place where I stop. I'm already too far into where I want to be on the car. There has to be a place where I say enough is enough. You know what I mean? And I just want to make sure the rust doesn't come back right away. I'm probably not even going to paint the car. He's probably going to do it. So everybody has to close their eyes and think back to when they were a teenager and they painted their first car and it looked like a piece of carpet. I'm just going to guide along the best I can. So with all that said, the car's coming awesome. It's a lot of work. They're all a lot of work. You don't realize when you start that they're a lot of work, and a lot of people walk away from them. So, like I said, the person that made that comment might be absolutely right. One of the people you did name that you were using as a reference, I wouldn't go by anything he says. I wouldn't go by anything that man says. And I don't even know why I called him a man. Most of the people know that I actually sent a friend to his shop to have his car painted. And he was abused, his wife was abused, his daughter was abused to the point where the cops were there. The paint job was destroyed, the car was stripped back down and reshot at another shop. So, do I trust anything he says? Absolutely not.